Flying through the cold of space, it seems I've yet to find my place.
Frodo, gotta go all the way to Modo. Everybody wanna know how we gonna go.
Lewis took 5 years to chronicle Narnia. Tolkien had 12 years and Rowling took 10. Lucas spent nearly 3 decades on Star Wars, and we all know how that one turned out in the end.
What is nerd rock? A lot of things. But at its heart, it celebrates geeky subject matter like superheroes, Star Wars, and the internet. It's not defined by a particular sound.
Nerdcore could rise up, it could get elevated.
Harry Potter, Harry Potter, Harry Potter, Harry Potter. That's a liquid crystal screen for my IBM PC.
Except that I'm a zombie now.
Nerd rock is less about genre and more about the identity of the performers and what they write about, sometimes at the risk of mockery.
Your favorite type of music is something I've never heard of, but it doesn't sound like fun.
I think it's very fun. It's called nerdcore hip-hop. It's people who identify as nerdy, rapping about the things they love, video games, science fiction, having a hard time meeting romantic partners.
Losers, in other words.
Well,
We visited New York Comic-Con to talk to nerd rock artists on the state of the scene.
I feel like, if you read comics every day, if you're leading the fan lifestyle like a lot of us are, as well as kind of performing it, you read comics, play games, joke with your friends about your favorite fandoms, and why not put that energy into song and then broadcast it to people? So yeah, it's a celebration of just day-to-day awesomeness, I feel like.
And for me, it's, an intersection sort of the things that we've always loved growing up and getting to play ridiculous music and write songs about the things that we love. And we still get to explore, themes that apply to everyone, just in the guise of and sort of appropriating some of that fandom.
Geeky cultural references in music aren't new. Led Zeppelin and Rush referenced Lord of the Rings decades ago.
Just in the darkest depths of Mordor, I met a girl so fair.
And its roots even trace as far back as the 1950s, where sci-fi fans sang parody folk songs at conventions. This practice was later called filking due to a typo in a sociology paper.
So I have an idea for a filk song. It's kind of a power ballad superhero crossover tale of epic proportions.
The term nerd rock itself wasn't coined until the 1970s by SNL writer Ann Beatz. She wrote a series of sketches inspired by an Elvis Costello performance on the show. Given his literary lyricism and oversized glasses, she remarked, "This isn't punk rock, this is nerd rock."
Chess is the word, it's the word that you heard. Chess has mood, chess has feeling.
Modern nerd rock is much broader than its original niche appeal.
I think if someone thinks of nerd rock without knowing what the new scene of it is, they think of guys with skinny ties and black glasses, just like what the media has portrayed as nerds, like in the 80s and the 90s and stuff, which is completely out of date, I feel like, with what's happening now.
I do feel a need to push back a little bit and say, yeah, I do write nerdy songs, but I also have a lot of sad songs about love.
Nerd rock picked up steam throughout the 1990s. Nerf Herder were one of the first bands to self-identify as geek rockers. Leave it to a band whose name is a Star Wars reference, and who wrote the Buffy the Vampire Slayer theme, to embrace the term. Bands like the Bare Naked Ladies, Harvey Danger, Cake, and Fountains of Wayne also come to mind, all of which stood in opposition to the angsty, humorless nu metal that was so popular at the time.
It's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. Everything is everybody sucks.
And now, with the rise of the nerd in pop culture, a new crop of musicians are making their fandoms more explicit than ever. Some only sing about specific topics, like Harry Potter, Doctor Who, and Game of Thrones.
For us, because we dress up, is that we have to just own it. We just have to own it and be like, this is what we're doing, we're dressed up, we're gonna freak people out, they're gonna wonder what's going on, and then it never fails, they end up having a good time. I mean, we put on a pretty fun show. We try to really engage people.
In recent years, nerd rock has grown to a new level of prominence, thanks in part to the rise of the internet and Comic-Cons as mega-cultural events.
Geek culture has become pop culture. It's not a cliche anymore. It's just everyone enjoying it as a populace, and if we can perform that and change it into something else, that's exciting.
And I think that musicians have always been nerds, and that it only took a little prompting and a little sense that there's an audience for it to say, okay, we're going to play to it. that's the case that nerd culture is bigger because nerd is not pejorative anymore.
It's become popular, and I guess that's good.
I don't like it. I really don't. I want to hold on to our little world that we had. And as soon as it becomes pop culture, I find myself being drawn to the things that are more underground, the things that the true geeks are going to.
Nerd culture as pop culture is a double-edged sword. While it may feel co-opted by the mainstream, the scene is larger and more inclusive than ever.
To be a nerd now is not the way it was. It wasn't the way it was when we were all kids and you wanted to kind of hide all of those little things that you loved. Now it's like, cool.